What is a hero? A mythological figure, often of divine descent, endowed with great strength or ability? An illustrious warrior? No. It's a person admired for achievements and noble qualities, one who shows great courage. Welcome to the What's a Hero podcast, where we dive deep into what a hero is and what makes them that hero. I'm your host, Ken Fraunfelter, and I'm going to be introducing you to some of the world's most likely and unlikely heroes. You may have never heard of them before, and they most likely have never met you. But they all have one thing in common. They are ready to do whatever it takes to help make you better, even if it means sacrificing everything for you. Let's get into it.
This is episode 74 of the What's a Hero podcast with me, Ken Fraunfelter. Julius Caesar had suffered his first defeat in 6 years as a proconsul. The tribes of Gaul, united at last, were threatening his demise. A long way from Rome, he was short on food and had no hope of reinforcements. This was the prologue for one of the most boldly conceived battles in military history. When Caesar came upon an army of 80,000 Gauls holed up in the fortified town of Alesia, he ordered his legions to build a siege wall encircling the town. When Caesar learned that another army of 200,000 Gauls was coming to crush his army and lift the siege, he attempted to determine what to do. Caesar's solution was as daring as it was innovative. He ordered his legions to build a second set of fortifications around the city. While the first wall faced inward, this one faced outward, encircling his army and protecting it from the outside. Military history records nothing else like it. Caesar had surrounded an army larger than his own, and then found himself surrounded by a second, still larger army. When the Gauls attacked, the Roman forces between the two walls found themselves fighting in both directions against armies that outnumbered them 6-1. Impossible as it seems, Caesar won this battle, personally leading his reserve force out of the fortifications to attack at a critical moment. He defeated the army surrounding him, forcing the surrender of Alesia and the army within. That decisive victory brought peace to Gaul. Caesar's reputation, already glittering, soared to new heights, and an emperor was in his future. So if you think about what he did, what Julius Caesar did, they said history has recorded nothing like that. He fought two fronts at the same battle. He had his armies facing different directions, and he defeated these guys just by sheer tenacity and his ability to fight and lead and do what needed to be done. Sometimes when you fight battles that you don't think are winnable, and other people around you are saying this is unwinnable and what you're doing is a fool's errand, you still go after that. You still try to do what you have to do because that's where you're at. That's the track that you're on, and that's where you have been called to do the job that you're doing. At this point, Caesar was struggling to try to keep this whole thing going, figure out what needed to be done, and he knew what needed to be done. He just needed to figure out how to get about doing it. Well, that's life. That's life. We go through life where we determine what needs to be done, and things come at us, and we're fighting, and we're struggling to try to build that, and you never know what's going to happen. You have people coming at you from all fronts, and you hold fast to who you are and your convictions, and you do that. Well, today's episode, we actually have someone who did just that. Now, he didn't surround the city of Gaul and defeat it by himself. However, he stuck to his convictions. He did what was right because it was the right thing to do. And so, with that, I want to introduce to you guys today's guest, who's a former U.S. Marshal. He's a former sailor from the U.S. Navy and MP in the Navy. But without any further ado, I want to introduce you guys to Bobby Ledogar. How are you doing, sir?
Well, I'm doing good, Ken. Thank you. That was something great to listen to about Julius Caesar.
Yeah, it's just one of those things you're like, that I didn't know that was a thing. So yeah,
no,
Yeah. So welcome. I'm happy you could come on the show today, and I think it's fantastic.
Oh, I think this is great. I really, it's great to connect with you, to meet you, and the opportunity to do this and talk about what's going on and what's happening.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. I mean, you've got a story that won't quit. It sounds like.
No, it goes on, and you wonder how long it's gonna play out and last,
right.
And you just can't believe how long the system drags out, to people.
Right.
It's amazing.
Right. Well, let's do like we always do, and let's go way back in time. And who's little Bobby? What was little Bobby's thing? What did he do when he was growing up? How did he do that?
That's cool. Wow. So I was born and raised in a small town in Queens, New York, called Broad Channel, which is part of the Rockaways, like in Rockaway Beach. It's just south of JFK Airport.
Uh-huh.
I'm right by JFK. I lived on an island that was connected by two bridges. So I lived on the water my whole life in New York. You wouldn't even think you lived in New York where I grew up. It was like a beach town. I grew up in a bungalow that was converted to a house.
Oh, wow.
It was awesome. Though it was greatest way to grow up. I mean, at Christmas time, I got waders boots, because the tide would come up, once or twice a month in the street, and you'd have to walk through the water to get to the boulevard to walk to school. So that was my, your Christmas present was boots to walk through water.
Well, yeah, but now you were dry getting to school. Now you were not freezing and uncomfortable all day, huh?
Exactly. But it was super cool. I grew up. I had I have a younger sister. I'm still friends with the same guys and girls I went to kindergarten with today.
Wow, that's cool. That's a rarity.
Friends. I played sports. I played baseball, football, hockey. Just everything you could do.
It was always outside, right? You were always outside.
Always, yeah. No cell phones, no video games. It was always, personal interaction with people.
Right.
All the time.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And you said you played sports, doing all that stuff like that. Have any idea what you wanted to do as you were going through school? Were you prepping for anything, or was it just, I'm not sure what I want to do, I'm just going to live the moment that I'm in, or what?
Well, in grammar school, you don't know what you're going to do. You watch, TV and movies and daydream about some kind of career. But, I wasn't a scholar in school. I was,
right.
I wasn't, I wasn't an angel. My priorities was, flirting with the girls if I can get,
Sure.
But I think it was when I went to high school, I have a love for the water and boating.
Mm-hmm.
And, I started, focusing on like, hey, I'm going to go in the Navy. I want to drive boats, and
right.
then I was into law enforcement, and I wanted to be a federal agent. I digged it. You watch TV shows and movies, and you get into it. You want to do that,
right? And from high school age, that's the thing you wanted to do, huh?
Yeah, I was getting. I set my sights on that.
Yeah.
I didn't daydream about anything else.
Did you think, okay, in order to do that, I've got to? Did you have an idea, an avenue in which you were going to try to go after, or did you say, you know what, I know the Navy will take me right after school, so maybe I can do that and then kind of transition? Or did you have an idea, or did you? Well,
I think, after, nobody in my neighborhood really went into the military.
Uh-huh.
My dad was in Vietnam. He was in the Army, and he was pro-military.
Mm-hmm.
My dad's dad, my grandfather, was in World War II, and he was still alive when I was there and pro-military.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, figured out, and I guess in talking to the counselors in high school, and they were like, hey, listen, this is your best path. If you want to go become a federal agent, go into the military, get a background, get a strong, you know, resume going,
Right.
you know, and then you have to apply. And I didn't know how to apply to be a federal agent. I just, you know, let me start now. I'm only 17. Go in
Right.
and get some training, you know, and see what happens from there. And then it just picked up from there.
Yeah. And that was you started following that path, but was that an easy in? Did you get in there really easy and do what you wanted to do, or?
Yeah, when I went in the Navy, I was, I just went in as like a boatswain's mate, you know, because I just wanted to drive. I'm like, I can drive these boats. It's so easy to me. I grew up on the water. I had a boat.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just these big, you know, like Boston whalers. I'm like, hey, I can do this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And not really, like you have to they want you to take classes and written tests. I'm like, I just need the key. I can drive the boat. Trust me. You know? And it took a little while, you know, and I went down there and they were like, all right, go clean the boat. I'm like, what? I'm like, come on, I can drive these things. This is easy.
Right.
So, you know, eventually a couple of the, you know, the senior guys, the chiefs, they took a liking to me, and then they were like, all right, let's see what this kid can do. And here I am now, you know, in Pensacola, Florida, and the chiefs like me, you know, the captain likes me. So they see me, they let me jump in like a 21-foot Boston whaler, you know, and I start zipping around. They're like, wow, how the hell do you know how to drive? You're from New York City. I'm like, you know.
I'm not from New York City. Yeah.
But that's all they think. They're
right,
like, oh, you take the train in a cab.
Right.
So I did that, and I was so young in the Navy, and they were like, what do you want to do? I'm like, I want to be, you know, a cop. I want to do law enforcement. I want to be an agent. So the Navy didn't really have a good military police program. They were just starting. It was almost like a collateral duty.
Yeah.
You know,
okay.
Like short patrol. Yeah.
Yeah. You drew the short straw this weekend, so you have to watch the boat while everybody goes on libo and.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So then they were creating this job in the Navy called Master at Arms, and you know they were like, hey, put in for it, and if you graduate that training, you get promoted from an E3 to an E4. And now you're a non-commissioned officer. You're a petty officer. I'm like, all right, perfect. So I put in and I got selected and I went to the training. And then while I'm there, you know, all the buildup for Desert Storm is starting.
And what year was this?
In 90.
Okay.
89, 90. And, you know, there was not really a lot of options there. They were like, listen, you're going to go to a ship or we can send you to the Middle East. And I was like, I didn't want to go on a ship. Yeah, I mean, it's tight, it's small, it's you know, it's a mess. So, you know, I talked to my parents and my dad, and he's like, you know, do it. He's like, you got to go. Don't get, you know, my dad was still old school. He's like, oh, you're going to get drafted and go right. I'm like, Dad.
Right. We don't do that anymore. But he was still under the impression that that's probably going to happen, huh? Yeah.
So I did. I volunteered, and I went to, I was part of Desert Storm. It was awesome. It was great. The greatest camaraderie ever. I went to this base in Bahrain, which is a neutral country, you know, and it was the main hub for everything that was going on over there. And then I was in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, you know, I traveled around there, and, you know, I'm 20 years old. I think I'm 19 or 20 years old now. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? I'm from freaking, you know, like, and I don't know how to fight, you know, and now I'm carrying an M16, I'm carrying a 45, and, you know, I'm aligned with a senior guy who is a chief who I love this guy. He trained me and taught me how to be an MP in the Navy.
Right.
And then I was in security, the security unit, and we worked with a gunny sergeant from the Marines and a sergeant. And man, the gunny would just beat the shit out of me every day. Like, what the hell are you doing here? Because like I just couldn't, you know, I wasn't hardcore military. You know, I
You're just some kid that wanted to drive a boat.
That's it. I'm
Right.
like, now I'm in the desert. I'm like, where's the water?
Yeah.
But it was awesome. Those guys taught me, reality. It wasn't the war of wars, but it was a war, and
Right.
when you're with these men and women, our people,
Mm-hmm.
they're freaking superheroes. I mean, what you do to survive and to make sure the guy next to you survives and to walk forward, to do it, to help people.
Right.
I'm telling you, man, it was the greatest time of my life. And I mean, if I got called today to go, fight and help somebody, I'd grab my knapsack and go.
Yeah.
I'm not turning my back.
Would you say that was one of your most formative times in your life growing up?
I think so.
With those guys, they kind of helped you to develop your character and who you are and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's when it fully, came out of the type of person I am and gonna be. And you have to, and doing that is like, here I am. I'm a kid. I went from, living at home, my mom doing my laundry, and cooking dinner.
Right.
And here I am in, a third world country. Making sure you stay alive. Like I had no idea. Like I would have to call home and ask my mom, how do I use the wash machine? Like how did this, like
yeah.
reality. That was it. So I did that, and I was there for 14 months, and I'm like, wow, did somebody forget about me? Why am I still here? And I finally get a phone call from, like, they call him the detailer, to get orders to go somewhere. And he's like, hey, even though you were overseas and it counts as sea duty,
right?
He's like, you still have time to do in the Navy that you have to go on a ship or go overseas again somewhere. I'm like, man, I just want to go back home. I miss home. I want to be there.
Right.
And I got to go. I was like, I'm not going on a ship. There's no way. I spent my whole time in the Navy and I was never on a ship.
Wow, really?
So from Desert Storm, I went to a small island in Italy called La Maddalena. It's in Sardinia.
Okay.
It's like 11 square miles. The only way to get on and off of there is by a ferry. And there was like maybe 100 Americans there. And the base was there to support a submarine tender that supported submarines.
Okay.
So it was well hidden. And they're like, hey, we're going to send you there. And you're going to be, one of the investigators. You're going to be a military police investigator over there. You got a good background. I'm like, all right, awesome. So I took the orders. I went there for 2 years, and I met awesome guys in security, and I lived out in town. I learned Italian. The Italian girls are just gorgeous. Yeah. Unbelievable. Oh my God. It's just awesome over there.
Yeah, especially on a little island. Yeah, they've been out there and baking in the sun, so they're olive skinned and the whole thing. You bet.
Great body. It was just awesome. Great people I worked with over there and still friends with today. And there is where, a lot happened for me with connections in the military. So there is my senior chief in security. Him and I became very good friends, and he later on went and became the detailer that would give you orders to new commands. But before that, he was in charge of the security department there. And the commanding officer there was, she was a commander, and she was getting promoted to become a captain in the Navy. And her name is Anne Rondeau. She went on to become one of the highest ranking female Navy officers in the Navy. She retired as a 3-star admiral.
Wow.
So I was
good for her.
This woman is amazing, so smart. And I worked for her. I was her investigator. Like,
wow, like directly, and not just just by on paper. Oh, she's way up there on the list. But you like reported to her.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Because I was the guy. I would have to find out about everybody. What's going on. And I wore civilian clothes. I worked almost undercover. I wasn't wearing a uniform, and nobody knew what my role was or who I was.
Right.
So I did that for 2 years. It was awesome. And then, like I said,
and that was all on that little island.
Island, yeah, yeah.
And you were able to stay blended in, and
oh yeah, I worked with the local Italian police, the Carabinieri.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a lot going on. I mean, we had a Navy exchange there. You would have ships come and go, submarines come and go.
Mm-hmm.
We had military dependents living there. And there's crime in military.
Sure, but I'm just thinking if it's small enough, they start recognizing you. So
after a while they do, and then everybody, they'll avoid you a little bit. But it's still, I would focus more on when visiting ships would come, because then the military guys would get in trouble out in town.
Oh right, yeah, just go do whatever, and so yeah.
Well, you get into fights or.
Oh, there's drunken brawls. There's egos, and there's pent up aggression, pent up emotions, and hormones and stuff. Being on a ship for however long, and now you're there, and there's beautiful women, like you said, and guys are guys. We understand how that works. I mean, yeah,
it was different back then, It was
different. Yeah, it's true.
So I did that, and then now. That senior chief went to DC and with the detailer. So we negotiated, orders. He set me up, and he was like, "Hey, I'm going to send you to a school to become an instructor, and then you're going to go to Little Creek, Virginia, and do shipboard security engagement tactics training and weapons training, like real life fire. You're going to be a firearms instructor and all that." I'm like, what? I'm not a school teacher. I don't, know how to do this stuff.
Right.
He's like, this is good for your career. This is going to make you. And now I'm like, look, I'm not looking to make the Navy a career. I want to get out and be an agent. And he wanted me to stay in the Navy. He was like, no, you're perfect. We like you. And like, he was molding me. It was great.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And
the same thing was happening with this captain now, Anne Rondeau.
Mm-hmm.
And because I would have talks with her, I'm like, look, I'm going to get out of the Navy and be a federal agent. And it was in Italy when she would find articles about like DEA agents,
mm-hmm.
not having a great personal family life because of the work they did, or how dangerous it was.
So she was trying to talk you out of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was like, listen, go to that, become an instructor, and start looking at officer program to become an officer.
Mm.
And I'm like, no way. No way. Like,
stop pushing me for that. That's not what I want to do.
Yeah, I'm totally not. I'm not wearing, I didn't want to wear a uniform. I didn't want to, go on a ship. And she's like, no, I'll make you an officer and you'll come work for me. Because she was gonna be a superstar in the military.
Well, obviously she was. She's one of the cream of the crop type people. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went to Virginia and was an instructor. And now that I'm in America and in this unit, it was like part of Special Warfare Group 2.
Mm-hmm.
You get all this intel that comes in that all these police departments and agencies are looking for people,
right?
And that's how it starts.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't believe it. And I mean, we were being informed and notified of like Boston police recruiting, NYPD recruiting, California Highway Patrol recruiting. Because they want military guys. They want and guys and girls that are trained and disciplined and
they can use the federal government's training money to get these people who know firearms, or they know investigation tactics, or they know crypto. computer stuff, whatever you want to do. Yeah. And so they've done all the training. So these guys are like, hey, that's one more bonus in our pocket where we don't have to train them, and we can just get them right to work.
And look back, this is over 25 years ago. And, everybody, you're fit.
Right.
You're in shape. And the requirements for law enforcement back then are a lot harder than they are today.
Right. Oh yeah. Oh, they have dropped some standards, to be honest with you. Absolutely. So, I saw a photo the other day, and just kind of segue just a minute, but I saw a photo the other day, and it was like 1970, late 70s or mid 70s. And it was like, a bunch of people at the beach, and at the bottom it said there wasn't a single obese person there. I mean, there was people, they were a little bit paunchy, but nobody was obese. And then there was a picture right next to it, and it showed 2022 people at the beach, and there's people spilling over their bathing suits, and just everybody has gotten just bigger and more unhealthy. You compare them from at that time. So like you were saying, and that's the 70s, but you're in the mid 90s at this point, and you're saying, people were fit. They did what they needed to do to get in better shape and stuff like that, be prepared to do things that were asked of them. And
it was it's your responsibility. It was your job. In the Navy, you took a fit test, every 6 months. And if you failed, forget about it. You're in big trouble. You do mandatory fit training, and you don't want it. So you got to keep doing your push-ups and sit-ups and running.
On your own to be prepared for this. And you did it not just in preparation for I know the tests are coming, but you did it just all the time because you needed to be in that shape to do your job.
Always. Yeah. Always. And even when I went, as I said, I'd been an instructor, you got 30, 40, 50, 60 people looking at you, telling them what to do. And if you look like, appearance is everything. If you look like Bart, I'm not listening to this guy.
Yes.
So that, I wanted to say that is, so now I stopped putting in for jobs, and my dream job, I wanted to go work for DEA. That was it. But people are recruiting, and I put in for ATF, the Park Police, the Postal Police, the Marshal Service, of course, NYPD and all them. And I get called right away.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I want to be a federal agent. And my dad's like, just take the PD job and get on the job. He's like, so boom, I get called by the Marshals. And they created this program called Operation Shining Star, and they were targeting military people. They wanted military people to come into the Marshal Service. Right. Which is smart.
Sure,
everybody,
Absolutely.
So they come to Virginia, and you had to give them a resume. I was in the military. That was it. So, and they made us take some silly test, 100 questions about whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like a 3-day process, and then you had to go do a fit test real quick. I'm 23 years old, I'm 130 pounds, no problem.
Right. Yeah.
And it was me and 3 other guys, and we were all friendly, and we were in Virginia together. And, we were out there, and the Marshal, we embarrassed it. We did better than them. And they were they're fit guys. We were
really?
Okay, zipping around you can't compete with military guys in the civilian world.
Right. Yeah. That's what they've been doing. And you're 23. You're probably going to be the best shape you'll ever be in.
Yeah.
Before or since. And so, yeah.
Going out the night before, you can ricochet right back.
Exactly. What's a hangover? Yeah. Yeah.
So, bam, I pass it. So now I have to go in and have a private interview with 2 marshals. I don't know who they are, but they're the recruiters. Middle-aged gentlemen,
Right.
And one guy was totally overweight. And he he's sitting there and he's going through my resume, and the other guy was just diesel fit. I mean, I was like,
right.
I'm not messing with this guy.
Right.
And he's just looking at me smiling, and I'm telling him what I do. And I'm like, hey man, you guys want to come and do a scenario with us? Like we did paintball training.
On your own?
On an abandoned oiler Navy ship.
Oh, so as part of the Navy.
And for the Navy, that's what my job. We would train the shipboard security teams tactics.
Right, okay.
But back then you had paintball guns.
Sure, yeah.
That's what we used.
Yeah.
And they thought it was amazing. And the one guy was like, yeah, we want to come and do this. I'm like, all right. I go, look, you guys are here all week. We do the actual tactics, the war games, you call it, on Thursday and Friday. I go, how many are you? They're like, so now I'm an E5.
Right.
And I'm one of the instructors. They're like, you can make this happen? I'm like, yeah, there's only like 6 of us that do it. Yeah, come down. So the fit guy he's like, hell yeah, I'm coming. I'm like, all right.
Right.
Now I'm like, I got the job. I'm in.
Sure,
they're going to hire me. So the overweight guy is sitting at a table, and he's like 2 pages behind the conversation we're having.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I get you.
He's going through my resume, and he's like, did you ever fire a gun? And I go, you're not listening to what we're talking about? Yeah, I was in Desert Storm. I'm an MP. I'm an instructor. I'm an investigator. I'm everything, that you want.
Right.
Then he's like, and then we just laughed. He's like, we have a rigorous fit program.
Oh, I can see
I'm
it.
looking at this guy. I'm like, you got to be kidding me with this. This is a walk in the park. I passed your fit test. So it was the next day they came down. There was like a dozen marshals that came, and we ran them through a couple of scenarios with the paintball stuff. And boom, a couple of weeks later, I get a letter in the mail. And this is like January, February. And they're like, hey, we want to offer you a position, blah, blah, blah. You come on as a GS5 or a 7, and you have to start the academy in June of that year of 94, 95. And I'm like, holy shit, I have another year and a half in the Navy. How am I going to get out?
Right.
Like I can't, I didn't know it was really happening.
Right.
So I had to call that senior chief friend of mine in Italy, and now he's the detailer. And he just starts laughing on the phone. So my nickname growing up my whole life today is Led, L-E-D. It's short for Lediger.
Right.
So everybody just said Led. So the senior chief's like, Led, only you can do shit like this. Like, how the hell did you get fired by the marshals and you're still in the Navy? Like, what are you going to do?
And yeah, or it's like they were going to be able to fulfill your contract, buy your contract out or whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, you got to get me out, because you can't. You got a year left in the Navy after June. Like, you can't get out.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, but you got to get. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to go work for the Navy, for the marshals. They're like, he's like, Led, there's no way. So now I got to go back, and I work for a different person in Virginia, who's a lieutenant, and he was the jealous type. He was disappointed that he was doing his career in the Navy. Like, he never had the opportunities to go
right
and do what I'm going to do.
Right.
And he was like, no, I'm not signing off on this for you to go talk to the commanding officer to make this request to see if I can get out early, and I'll sign whatever papers. So he shuts it down. I'm like, shit. So I go back and I call my friend, the senior chief, and he's like, listen, the only way you can pull something like this off, he goes, you have to call our old captain, who is the female. Right.
Captain Rondo.
She's now a 1-star admiral.
Oh, nice.
In the Pentagon. So now she's a superstar. he goes, and we would call her the old lady, just like you'd call
Sure, like the old bird or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. The old
So I'm
man.
like, oh, all right. He goes, listen, she loves you. She'll do whatever she can for you. So I call her and I tell her, and she's like, no, I'm not letting you out. I want you to become an officer. It's a dangerous job with you. I'm like, how is
she's pushing that?
So, her and I would go back and forth. I didn't let up. And, it was about a month, and she came through for me, and she gave the okay, and she sent the message out that, I'm authorized to leave the Navy a year early, because this was happening and whatever it was. And I got an honorable discharge. And in June, on a Saturday and on this Sunday, I was in the Marshal's Academy.
Wow, just that quick and easy, huh?
You'd think so, but it wasn't. It was so...
Well, I mean, the actual doing of it. It's all the lead up and the build up to it and all that stuff like that. There's a million pieces of paper that had to be signed and, all that stuff like that.
And she was like, she goes, I don't want this for you, but I know you want it.
Yeah.
And I believe in you. And, she's like, don't let me down. And I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
And just to throw a quick bullet into that is here it is. That's in 94, 95.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward to 2009, and I'm on the Marshals, and I'm still in contact with that woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I get Investigator of the Year from the Federal Law Enforcement Foundation, which is a big organization out of New York.
Mm-hmm. And
my bosses, my leadership, my managers in the Eastern District of New York put me in, and I get picked and get it for the Marshal Service for investigating a fraudster who did Ponzi scams for millions and millions of dollars. And I located him in Canada, and he was arrested. So this organ, it's a huge, huge thing in New York. And I get put in their book.
Mm-hmm.
I get this award, which is it's great. It's an amazing thing.
Right.
And I turn around and get one of those, the journals, the books.
Yeah.
I post it on the page that I'm in, and I mail it to her.
Right.
Who is now, in 2009, she's the dean president of the War College in Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay. Wow. Look at her go.
And
yes. Jeez.
I send it to her. She called me right away, and I'm like, it's because of you. Thank you.
Right.
She did that.
Right.
And I never wanted to let her down. And I think it was like a year or two later, I went to DC, and her and I met up.
Mm-hmm.
And that book sits in her office on a coffee table.
Wow.
And she didn't just do it as a prop. Like, you could tell it was always there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was a talking piece for her with other people.
Sure.
Whatever topics were.
That's cool.
And it's great.
Yeah.
It's great that people do that in your life, and
yeah,
and
she was proud of you. She knew what she had invested in you, and then that you didn't let her down in that. That's yeah. She made my career. She made my life. Right.
She did it. You know?
As in, you never know who you're going to run into, and who, just by being a genuine person and being good, and then that person just, you building relationships with people. You never know what's going to happen, how that's going to affect you in the future in a good way. So just be a good person in that sense.
And that's what you try to do. Yeah, I don't understand people's today that, everybody is just so negative or hateful and vicious, and they attack people, and you're just like...
Right. Well, I think, like you said before, that one guy he was jealous, and he said no. And I think that's where a lot of it comes from. There's that and I think it's social media that has a lot to do with it, but where we see that and we see other people doing stuff, it's that keeping up with the Joneses sort of thing. Hey, they're doing it. I'm not doing it. And because I'm not doing it and they're getting it, I don't like them. Well, there's enough to go around for everybody. And for you to sit there and be jealous of, oh, they're not doing it, that doesn't mean that you can't. That means they're just doing it there. You can do it where you're at, and it's just, yeah, there's just jealousy. And I think that's exactly what it is. It's ego, envy, jealousy, all that stuff like that.
And there's an opportunity for everybody in anything you want. I mean, listen, I still play lotto. I really, it really would help to win $375 million.
Sure.
Really.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not gonna, bet. I'm mad that this guy won and I didn't win. I'm like, damn, I need that money.
But you're not mad at that guy. You're just mad that, dang it, that wasn't me. I got to keep working, or I keep pulling a pension, or do whatever I got to do. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to keep at it. I mean, you can't just give up and, hide in the corner and cry about it.
Right. And be happy for people. And you might as well be happy for them, because what are you going to do? You're just going to sit there and sulk in your own tears and your filled up waiters. You're just going to be like, you're just going to be sad over here. What are you going to do? Or can you just, you know what? I'm going to be happy. That's awesome for you. Good for you. I'm happy for you and proud for you.
That's it.
Do that. Be that way for other people. And it'll come back, and people will see that and be like, you know what? I like the way he handles things. I want to know him more. I want to be his friend. And then that's how you start building relationships. And you never know what's going to happen from it.
You don't. And they last a lifetime. I mean, like I said earlier, I'm still the best of friends with the guys and girls I went to kindergarten with.
Yeah.
And I have today, I have friends now that I've known for 10, 20, 30 years that were just great people. Mm-hmm. And, I'm very, I don't think it's say lucky, I guess am I fortunate? I'm like, it's what you're supposed to do. I mean, you're like. Right.
And well, it's based off of your character, the way that you interacted with people and how you treated them. And it just came back to you. I mean, that's what it seems to me. And I think that's how we live life, is that you treat people good, it's going to come back to you. Maybe you don't get it right away or whatever, but there's a goes around, comes around sort of thing in the world. Yeah. And how you treat people and why you treat them that way, it's noticeable, it's seen. It's, like I said, be genuine and people see it.
Yeah,
people know
it really does.
So you go from Navy on Saturday wearing all whites or whatever to now wearing a suit on Sunday and going to the academy and learning everything it takes to be a marshal.
Yes. And I went to the academy in the summer down in Glencoe, Georgia, and it was so hot, miserable.
Oh, I can imagine.
And these instructors, all you do is run. You run for hours and push-ups and sit-ups, and a bunch of classroom stuff, and the academy is like, it's almost like 6 months. You go into different phases. And I made a selection. And what's so funny is, I could have went anywhere I wanted in the nation. And I wanted to go back home. I wanted to go to New York. I missed my friends, my family. Mm-hmm. And I went to Eastern District in New York, which is housed in Brooklyn, downtown Brooklyn. Uh-huh. And it covers Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, and then Long Island, Nassau, and Suffolk County.
Okay.
So, and then there's the Southern District of New York, which is in Manhattan. And they cover the Bronx and White Plains and some of upstate. And the only thing that separated the office was the Brooklyn Bridge from Eastern District to Southern District.
Okay.
It was 2 miles. It was the Brooklyn Bridge. Mm-hmm. That was it. But you would think it was two totally different worlds,
Really?
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
There's those guys over there and these guys over here. Yeah.
Yeah. But Manhattan's Manhattan. I mean, it's the top of the top, and
right.
It's just all glorious. And then Brooklyn was like the bastard stepchild.
Right, the armpit of New York.
Yeah. But it was great. I mean, I did Brooklyn. I did my whole career. And it was like a family there. You know, the office, the guys and the girls I worked with, they were just great people.
And what did you like? Did you have a primary set skill that you investigated, or skill set that you investigated, or was it just whatever came in and how to help somebody out? What was it?
No, see, there's so many roles in the Marshal Service,
Mm-hmm.
So like in the beginning, I went to the district, and here it is. I just still wanted to drive boats.
Mm-hmm.
But I went with the first agency that called me just to get in.
Right.
So I go with the marshals, and in the beginning, I had to deal with just working in the cell block, going to court, prisoner transportation.
Oh, okay.
All in the federal system.
Mm-hmm.
And it's overwhelming. It was a lot of work, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And you put in a lot of hours, and they need more people. And it never, every day is always a kick in the ass.
Yeah, they're always shorthanded. You're always. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we would do some protection, like for the federal judges or U.S. attorneys.
Mm-hmm.
Then there, the WITSEC program. There's so many things. And then the most prestigious or glorious job of the marshals is to work fugitives, to work warrant investigations.
Right.
And that's what everybody wants to do. And everybody's, picking their way to get in there, and you have to earn it,
Yeah, because that's the glory right there, right?
Yeah.
That's the.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's exciting. It's an adrenaline rush. So, you know what? I'm from New York. I can talk. I got a great background. I have experiences working investigations and law enforcement in the military.
Mm-hmm.
I can put in the hours. I'm fit. And I'm single, I'm ready to go. And man, you run up against some other guys that are,
just as tenacious, huh?
They're superstar. I mean, they want the same thing. And then there's the guys that are already in those divisions in that section that are like, look, kid, you're not walking in here and bumping me,
Right.
I've been doing this. You don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
And you gotta, again, you gotta look the part. Like these guys were rugged looking guys, and
mm-hmm.
they fit the profile of being guys that work the street, that could
mm-hmm.
find people. So I don't know if I guess I aligned myself with one or two guys that I looked up to, and today they're friends of mine. They're still by me.
Right.
And you watch them and you try to learn, and then you start learning how to do these type of investigations on how to find somebody,
mm-hmm.
and I really got into it. And it took a couple of years to get in there full time,
mm-hmm.
but, I knew I would always do rotations, and I got picked, and boom, next thing you know, I'm in the warrant squad.
Uh-huh.
And you working full time, doing everything. And I had some great cases. And just like the one we talked about before, where I get investigator of the year.
Right.
For tracking down a sophisticated fugitive, doing Ponzi schemes, money laundering. And
how long did that one take once it came across your desk?
Oh, that was a hard year.
Right.
It took me a good year to get, and it was.
Yeah, because fraudulent stuff and things like that. It's not just, oh, okay, this person did it, because they're sneaky about it.
Yeah.
They got to try to figure out, because there's a lot of numbers that are involved. You got to go into accounts. You got to get subpoenas for those accounts, because banks don't just hand stuff over. And
oh, no. Yeah. And you're doing search warrants on call records. You're tracking down
right
IP addresses, phone numbers, anything you can to lead up to them. And then you're following the person's family and friends, and just, and
right.
you're always a step behind until
mm-hmm.
that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And
they get that one little thing. They're like, I got it. There it is. And it opens up all of a sudden, just explodes into
total 100%. And then, remember now I'm investigating that person, and you're also getting more cases dropped on your desk. Like
mm-hmm.
you got to go after somebody who violated federal probation. That was the prime, titles of what the marshals went after. We went after everybody that violates their federal probation, from peeing dirty, to committing a serious felony.
Right. Going back into their world of
you got to do
murder,
that too.
rape, prostitution, drugs, whatever. Yeah.
And that's the job in itself. And then you're getting the Marshal Service created this great thing called the Regional Fugitive Task Force, and New York was the mothership of it. It was the first one to come.
Okay.
And I mean, they made a TV show out of it on A&E called Manhunters.
Oh, really?
So, and now the guys and girls in Eastern District are teaming up with the guys and girls in Southern District, New York. And we're making this one big task force.
And who had previously been just butting heads and been, talking trash about each other, like that's our biggest rival or whatever. Now you guys, you get to work together now. And
now we're all partnered. And let me tell you, it was great. It was great. But for my time there, it was great. Mm-hmm. The peoples were awesome.
Was it a really quick, was it like that distant cousin that you always talk trash about but when you get together, it's just now you're brothers and sisters and you're just close and you're like, okay, we can talk trash about you, but nobody else gets to talk trash about you, sort of thing.
Exactly. And you develop a great relationship and you become a good team. Mm-hmm. And now it's a task force. It's huge. There's hundreds of guys and girls there from the marshals, Homeland Security, ATF, DEA, NYPD, the state police, everybody's part of it. And the NYPD is just unbelievable. That's cool. The detectives we work with, they're
top notch, huh?
Unbelievable. Yeah. I thought I was a great investigator. Those guys, they're the best. They're absolutely the best. I mean, they just don't stop. And now I'm in there and I'm catching great cases. Now you're working major homicides and, carjackings and rape cases, real violent crimes. Mm-hmm. And, and it was put out there like, hey, you got the marshals. We're the bounty hunters of the world. Like we'll capture you. And we're not going to stop. And we're going to, and when we come, we're coming with a lot of people and you're not going to win. And we, thank goodness, we won a lot and we caught a lot of bad people. And I worked with some of the greatest people in the world.
That's cool.
And we had some great leadership where I worked, Mm-hmm. So that I do that for years. And next thing you know, I put in to become a supervisor, mm-hmm. And they're like, you should do it, and I always am like, God, this isn't even the career I wanted to be in.
Right. And I want to do DEA or whatever stuff. But I'm here and this is, and is it fulfilling that itch that you had?
Oh, it was it's an adrenaline rush. It's just an amazing thing. And, the camaraderie was great. I felt like you're in the military again. I worked with great peoples.
And so when you got in there, you never thought about eventually transferring out because you were enjoying it so much.
No, I still did. I wanted to go DEA, and they actually did contact me after I was on the marshals for about 5 years. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm already, I'm a GS-12. And you want me to, kind of downgrade to go to an academy,
right?
Get beat up, and then I'm going to get transferred to North Dakota. I'm like, and then the guys talking to me, I knew from New York. I'm like, you guys know me. We work together.
Yeah.
And they were even like, just stay with what you're doing. Don't. And I'm like, I'm not going. And now, 5-6 years on the marshals, I'm married. I have a wife, and she's like, get the hell out of here. You're not going undercover to buy drugs in some other state.
You're not an undercover guy. That those days of doing that in the Navy are over. You're now,
That's it. Yeah. I'm 30 years old. I'm like, forget it. I'm not doing this stuff, Because now you have an attitude about yourself. You're
right. You are, because you've built whatever's come up, whether it's people said stuff about you or you've gotten, you've gotten your awards and all the different things, and now you're like, oh, this is where I'm at. This is who I am. You've developed your person and your mentality of things.
And I'm in it. And now you want me to go backwards and start from, the ground?
Peon level?
I'm already on the ladder.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, we're doing that. And I was like, you know what? There was people retiring. So supervisor positions were coming up. And just like in the departments, you got to jump on an opportunity when it's there.
Right.
And I wasn't looking to transfer to get promoted. I wanted to stay where I was. Being married, we were trying, to start a family, to do something. I'm like, I just can't pick up and leave and go to, the big thing was go to headquarters in Arlington, Virginia, and you get promoted. I'm like, I'm not a tool. I'm not a government tool to just get promoted just because. So you have to you have to take a test. You have to put in a package to get promoted. And I think I bet you I scored the worst out of everybody on the promotion test. Because I'm like, but my package was my package, and my personality and my attitude and my work ethic was far beyond taking a test.
Right.
And it was my chief today, who we were on a job together, and he was already, I think he was like an assistant chief. And he pushed for me to get picked. And it's at headquarters makes that decision, but they take strong account to what the district leadership wants.
Right.
So he ranked me number one, and a chief back then who picked me ranked me number one. And so did the marshal, who's a president appointee. He ranked me number one. And they all knew test-wise, I wasn't number one. But
oh, wow.
Everything else superseded that. I was like, you're just, I was too good.
Right.
And it's not my ego. I don't want to show off. It's not. It's just, it's fact. And I was competing, like guys were trying to lateral over to come to get that position because they knew it was a stepping stone. And, people were trying to make deals, and I was still just being me, working, busting my ass.
Right.
And it was the chief who, he was a great guy. I love this guy. He had my back, and he said it to my face, and he was like, as a manager, he goes, I'm making the biggest mistake to promote you to management because you're anti-management and you're for the guys. I'm like, you goddamn right I am. I'm like, you people suck.
That's what you need in there. It's not, it's not us against them. You need a person that thinks about the,
He's just he was a smart guy, and he knew it, and he made the office work real good, but he was still, he was a politician, he was a boss.
Right. Yeah.
And he didn't hurt anybody, but he still, was concerned about headquarters, where I wasn't concerned about headquarters. I'm like, you got to give everything to the guys. That's it, period. I don't care about headquarters. The people in headquarters are wasting money on, pillows with the marshal star on there. Get the hell out of here.
Right, right. Let's think about the guys, and if you think about them, they're going to think about the mission, and they're going to make you look good, and then everything's going to be. But if it's just nope, we need to push them down. I've never gotten that mentality. I've never understood that.
I don't get, and it still happens today. You see it.
Sure. You see it everywhere and everywhere. It doesn't matter. I mean, whether it's a bank or whether it's a police department or whether it's marshal service or whether it's a retail business. It's the same thing everywhere you go. I mean, unless you have one or two that are like they finally get into that position and they kind of change that culture, and then all of a sudden now there's a team and everybody likes working there and everybody likes being there because it's not us against them. We're a team.
Yeah. So I get promoted, and that chief It's like, okay, they pull me from the warrant squad because there I was just one of the guys. I was a worker. I was, an investigator. And he goes, okay, we're going to put you in, you got to learn what it's like to supervise and manage the different sections. I'm like, are you kidding me with this? I did these sections,
Right.
So he was, he's like, nope, I'm going to bring you. I'm like, oh, this is not going to work good here. So the assistant chief, Brian, he's like, we got to keep him in warrants. He's too good. He's a street guy. He goes, you can't put him on the desk to interact with judges. He's going to be hanging up the phone on him. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, and that's really going to make everything great, pissing off a judge. Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So I go into what they call operations, and I start doing, the office work. But there, I'm grabbing some guys that work operations that want to work warrants, and I'm changing schedules, and I'm giving those guys plenty of opportunity and time to hit the street because some of these younger guys are unbelievable. They're great.
Right.
Like, use them. Don't let them just sit here. Like, stop the bullshit, multitask. Make people do a little bit more than they're supposed to.
Right. And you push somebody enough, they're going to go and they're going to show you what they got, and you're going to be surprised. Yeah.
And I had, man, I did a month or two in the office, and even that chief, he was like that. He goes, I don't even want to look at him anymore. I would argue with the chief, we would debate back and forth about things. And I'm friends with him today. He's a great guy. Yeah. I love him. I love his family. I mean, I went to his daughter's wedding. I mean, we're friends.
Right.
And it was the assistant chief, Brian. He's like, you gotta put him in warrants. We're killing us. Why are we doing this to ourselves?
Wasting talent. Yeah.
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 So they had 2 supervisors in warrants. And then it was like an overnight thing. They're like, all right, start Monday, Bobby, you're in warrants. And then they took the 2 guys out to do the job that I was doing one person on. And now I'm doing their 2 jobs as one person.
Yeah.
Because it can happen.
Sure.
So I pissed off some people. It's egos and attitude. So you're like,
right.
We got a job to do. And then I was able to take some of those guys that I was kind of grooming those couple of months I had there and get them in warrants full time. And some supervisors got mad. They're like, why, you're giving him everything he wants. But I would justify it. I would argue and give a reason why we need these people and what they're doing. And those people that came and worked for me wanted to do it. They wanted to work their ass off. They wanted to do the job.
Right.
And now here I am supervising the guys and girls that I worked with side by side.
Right.
And they wanted me in there because they knew I would do for them what they do for me. And we created one of the greatest squads in that whole district. And I know that's a fact because some of the guys that I worked with that I went on to become supervisor of, they worked with and for people that had retired who were their supervisor or chief.
Okay.
And they made it a point to tell them men that I was better than them.
Wow.
That I was, and like, it's just a great feeling to get that, and I could never hurt those people. Like I could never, have them made a bad decision to say that about me. And I owe them my life for that. And today they stand by me.
That's cool.
So it was great. I mean, I had a great career. I loved my job. I loved the people I worked with. But, to get into we talked a lot, and to get into, what happened to me, is I did what I was, molded to do. I defended somebody. So I helped somebody.
So so we're getting closer to that point, I guess, chronologically. So what happened? How did that what tell us what happened, because there's a lot of people listening that they're like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? I thought we were just talking about a U.S. Marshal career. Right. So, yeah, tell us what's going on. What happens at this point?
So I'm a supervisor now for like 10 years, no, 25, 6 years.
Okay.
And in the district, and I have a huge responsibility, and I have a lot of people working for me and with me. And I'm part of, like I said, we're part of the biggest task force in the world. And I have this young lady who's a deputy U.S. Marshal, and eager, she wants to be in the warrant squad. She wants to do it,
Right.
And she's very capable. And, she comes to me. I start working with her. I'm letting her go out in the field with the guys and the girls in the task force. And she digs it. She's like, this is what I want to do. I can do it all. And it's happening. So she's very open. She's a lesbian. And now she's a deputy U.S. Marshal. She's an Army veteran. And now you're working with other local cops and other marshals, and you're on a U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force. So no matter what, the U.S. Marshals are in charge.
Right.
So there were some guys in the group she was with who just didn't like her. They didn't like taking orders or direction from a female.
Was it the female thing or the lesbian thing?
It was both, and especially more so because she was a lesbian, and I get, in that whole culture or world, there's different identities to, lesbians, and they identify themselves with different terminology, like a lipstick lesbian, or a butch style lesbian, or a tomboy style lesbian.
Okay.
So she was more like tomboyish. She was built differently.
Right. But she could give the guys a run for their money, I'm assuming.
She's a very smart woman.
Yeah.
Very smart. Well educated. She was disciplined. She was trained. Educated, like I said. She kept herself fit. She wasn't a mess.
Right.
It was just a different appearance. She came in, she didn't wear skin tight jeans. She wasn't showing her body off.
Right. She was just being a person, just a person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just.
And her and I had a great relationship, and most of the guys in the group got along great with her, liked her a lot. It was really these 2 or 3 people who were they were local cops, and they didn't like her. They didn't want to hear from her. None of this stuff. And they started bullying her in the office and degrading her. And it's like every day it just escalated more and more. They would play porn, and they would turn their computer on and play hardcore gang raping porn, and you would hear all this because she was in the office.
Right.
They would go into cell block and collect prisoner property of porno books, and leave it on her desk of like different pictures. Then they would just talk openly about stuff. They would
just disrespectful in every sense of the term, of the word.
Everything.
Yeah.
And then at one point it got so bad, whereas one guy asked her girlfriend when we were off duty at a bar, what she was like in bed. Like to go to, like, what do you, what are you doing? Like,
you wouldn't go ask anybody. I mean, their significant
you don't even
other.
act.
Yeah.
We're not first. You're not teenagers, doing stupid shit. It's just
Right.
This was wrong, and he was my equivalent, whatever. He was a supervisor.
Right.
He's married and he's got 3 kids, and one kid is a girl. You're going to act like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And so she had enough of it, and she was coming up. She's like, listen, just stop. Like they were just trying to push her out.
Yeah.
Yeah. They wouldn't notify her about things. They wouldn't let them know what they were doing. They would keep her off morning hits or rest or whatever. And she's like, I'm in charge. You have to tell me what's going on,
Right. Right.
And they were like, oh, we sent you a text message. You mustn't have got it. This petty stuff.
Yeah. And always brushing it off too, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
So, and then the build up with the pranks at the office and the degrading her, and they would mess with her desk and take papers to just have her disheveled, you know?
Right.
So she would talk to one guy and confiding him like what she was feeling. And this guy manipulated her to make her believe that he didn't like the other 2 guys that were messing with her.
Oh, okay.
But actually they all talked. And
one
day she saw how they were all
conspiring per se, right?
Yeah. And it hit her. That's when it hit her. She was like, she got played.
Uh-huh.
But she trusted this guy, and it was and I was surprised at him. And he came up to her and he just started grabbing her and calling her these like you sexy bitch, look at your, like these things that were just totally just offline.
You wouldn't do that to anybody. And I mean, even your own buddies, you don't do stuff like that, I mean, it doesn't matter who you do it.
You don't. But then I started finding out stuff.
Uh-huh.
That this guy would make her hug and give him a kiss every morning when they met, when they would do their briefing to go arrest somebody.
Really?
And I'm like, what? Like, what's going on here? And, she told me that. She was like, yeah, it just seemed like that's what we had to do. Like every girl that would come out, and there was 2 other girls that came forward and told us that, oh yeah, we would have to give him a hug and a kiss on the cheek. I'm like, what? And
that's ridiculous.
He's like, yeah, he expects that. I go, this is not a reunion or family friends that we're going to a barbecue.
No, you haven't seen anybody in 6 months or a year and family. Yeah.
This is a person you work with. We're here to do a job, and it's not like that. So I bring that comes to me, and she makes it a complaint. So I go to the supervisor, and him and I get into it big time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, listen, just tell these guys to stop acting like assholes. Just tell, that's it. We can neutralize this. He's like, well, if I do that, that means they did something wrong. Well, they did. Like, you just can't.
Yeah.
So, and
is that what she wanted? Is she was just like, let's just tell them to stop and we can call it water under the bridge. Yeah. But
just stop.
Uh-huh.
And that just made it worse.
Mm-hmm.
It made it 100 times worse, because that was like on a Thursday or Friday, and she went home for the weekend. We were just talking back and forth and trying to keep it at our level.
Right.
And Monday, nothing happens. Come Tuesday, there's an arrest planned in the morning,
mm-hmm.
and it's her team, and these guys that she complained about show up to do the arrests, but they're not on her team. But they show up in support of the other guy that she complained about.
Oh.
Well, so even that team, they're like, what are you guys doing here? Oh, we saw on the board you had a hit. We figured we'd come out. We had nothing going on. Well, you have your own team that you work, your group. Like,
right.
You don't pick and choose what you want to do.
Right.
So they go and they make entry into the house, and there's a couple of people there, and they security the areas, and the girl is safekeeping a woman in an area.
Right.
And they arrest the perp. They find him. Well, one of the guys come up and shove her, push her, hit her to cause her to lose her balance and fall. And now this person, like a civilian, sees this.
Yeah. So while she's babysitting this person or safekeeping this person, they do.
So
this.
here's one of the guys you work with assaults.
Sure.
Her, a deputy marshal. And she's like, what the hell? Like scared. And he just gives her a look. Like, here we are. What are you going to do?
Right.
So she gets extremely upset. Everything gets secured.
And what year is this? So we can kind of put in context of
2015.
Okay, so we're not very long ago at all.
No.
Yeah. All right.
And so what we had found out happened is that the supervisor made contact with these guys to tell them that she made a complaint against them, and that we were, I don't know everything he said, but you just made the matter worse.
Right.
You're a supervisor. What are you doing? We could have talked this all out and handled it a different way.
Right.
Now you just put this girl's life in danger because of what they just did.
Right.
So now it's getting physical. So she called me. It's early. I'm like, that's it. Go home. This is it. I'm going now. I called him. I'm like, you're an idiot. Like you're a complete idiot.
Right.
I said, you better call who you have to call because I'm going to the chief and this is out of our hands. I want those guys gone. I'm not placating. This is a joke. This is a marshal's task force.
Right. Where this isn't high school, middle school, some kind of playground crap. This is,
Now you got a guy just hit her on a case, on a scene.
On an operation. Yeah.
On a set doing it. This is, what are we thinking?
Yeah.
And, so he's like, well, let's see what happened. I'm like, no, it's over.
Let's see what happened. Okay, let's see what happens.
The next one's going to be a shots fired. Like, no. So, bam, that happens. Next thing, the girl, she's got a list of shit that they've been doing. And she wrote it all down.
Oh, she's been documenting the whole time,
She documented everything. She put it all, and she was just, she wanted to work through it. She didn't want to get pushed out of what she wanted to do.
Right.
And, she had evidence, hard evidence, physical evidence, photographs, oh my God.
She did a good job making a case on this. Huh?
And she did a good job on that while she was doing her job.
Right.
So that's even insane in itself.
Sure, yeah.
So it goes up, and then next thing you know, these men in that task force, the task force is considered a headquarters unit, but it involves people from the district, almost like, working it, but there's two different managers. You have the headquarters running the task force, but the task force is working in the district, in Eastern District.
Oh, okay.
It's odd. But it's understandable in the Marshal Service.
Okay.
But for everybody else out there, they're like, this is confusing, but it's not. So I'm a district person. I'm not a headquarters person. And the girl is a district person. She's responsible for the Eastern District of New York.
Right.
The people in that task force are headquarters people. They're responsible for headquarters managers. They talk to them. They don't have to talk to my chief.
Right. Okay.
So there's two different chiefs. So my chief is pissed off. He tells the marshal they're pissed off. Now there's conversations taking place with people from headquarters and all this. So my chief is like, we got to have internal affairs look into this. These guys have to go. serious shit. This is, it's sexual harassment. It's, bullying. It's everything.
Right. It's everything that you can.
And we have 20 pages of what this young lady wrote down.
Right.
And here's photographs, and there's other people involved.
Yeah.
What are we doing? So headquarters puts the brakes on it, because now this task force is funded by Congress. So the money comes from Congress because it was implemented right after 9/11.
Okay.
So this is a huge black eye if this gets put out there, that there's sexual harassment against a girl who's a lesbian,
right,
who's a marshal,
right,
by these 3, 4, 5 other cops and other marshals. Like, what the hell is going on? There's porn, there's different incidents that are going on.
Yeah, well, physical harassment. I mean, in regards to the kissing and the hugging and the pushing and all this different stuff. Yeah.
So the people in headquarters now, they're like, they don't want to bring this to light,
right?
Because it's going from outside the marshal service, because there's other local police involved. So now you have to let them know why you're getting rid of my guy, why you're investigating him,
right?
Where's my money? Because that's all these local cops care about, is the perks.
Right, yeah.
Because they're getting government cars, they're getting equipment, they're getting training, they're getting accessibility to stuff, to equipment and databases.
Right, yeah.
Now that's all going. That's gone. So people are pissed.
Yeah, I would imagine.
So there's a division in the Marshal Service called IOD, the Investigative Operations Division, and that oversees the task forces.
Mm-hmm.
So the one man in charge of that, he's being groomed to become a big person in the Marshal Service.
Mm.
So he's buddy with some other bosses. So now it's beyond Bobby Lediger. It's up at headquarters. It's
right. That turd's out of your pocket. Now it's
at the command staff level. Like, forget it. But these people now in charge of the Marshal Service were Bobby Lediger. They were deputies and supervisors and chiefs, and we all promote from within.
Right.
So they all forget where they come from. So this guy makes the decision to have somebody from the Investigative Operations Division investigate the complaint that this girl made against his people, and not let it go to internal affairs.
Not let somebody else, a separate entity, come and check this out. It's the same people. They're
going to investigate themselves.
Right. That always works out really well. There's no ethic violation whatsoever in that.
It worked out great. It went on for a month or two, and there was actually crime committed, and they changed the whole investigation to called office culture.
Oh my gosh.
And during that whole investigation, the investigator was one person who worked with and trained with the supervisor who I confronted that was in charge of those guys.
Oh.
So you can't make it up.
Yeah.
But you can't make it up.
Yeah, it's nepotism at its finest.
It's right there. But you think now, and now remember, another thing which is very important to me is that this female deputy marshal and me are the only veterans in this whole thing.
Oh.
We're the only ones. And I've seen combat.
Sure. So
these guys, they have their own opinion.
Right.
So at the end of this investigator's investigation, he submits it, and he brings out some truths, but he submits it to headquarters, not to the district. And the people at headquarters were like, there's no problem, but the problem we do find is Bobby Lediger for being a bad supervisor and the female deputy for not bringing it to our attention sooner.
Are you serious?
How much sooner can it be than the day she gets assaulted?
Well, I guess they wanted it when they put a porno book on her desk, or
no matter.
It didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
Right.
The writing was on the wall. We all saw it.
Sure.
And now my chief, who's a lawyer,
right,
is fuming. He's like, "Are you kidding me? This is it's insulting from day one." Because everybody knows the players in this. Mm-hmm. People know me. People know this other supervisor. They know. They know that people knew there was problems in that division. They knew it.
Right.
And everybody just pushed it to the side. So investigations are going on, and the guy who assaulted her during the investigation of office culture, he, with another guy, we all go to the law enforcement appreciation baseball game that involved the New York Mets.
Okay.
Everybody's going. You get free tickets. There's
right. It's the Mets. It's a Mets game. It's Saturday afternoon or whatever, and it's just
we're all going.
Hot dogs and baseball.
So they know I'm going.
Uh-huh.
People know I'm going because it's put out there on who's going. So this guy, it comes out later on that since he was removed from the task force because of what's going on with the girl,
right,
and it's being investigated, and that I reported it and said that what was going on,
right,
and I was backing her. Goes to the baseball game to confront me, and he does, with another guy from the task force. But now we're there with all the big task force, people from the city, from all over.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm not paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
You're bullshitting with people, drinking beers, hanging out.
Right.
And I'm walking. He gets up from his seat and confronts me coming down the stairs. And he and I are the same height.
Mm-hmm.
We're nose to nose.
Really?
Our noses are touching and we're in each other's face. And it's going, he's like, "You motherfucker." I'm like, "Fuck you." We're going at it. He's like,
right.
You believe her over me. You're a fucking scumbag. I'm like, "Fuck you. You're a piece of shit."
Right.
I mean, blatant disorderly conduct, everything.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And he's spewing shit out that he shouldn't be talking about because it's an investigation.
Right.
So you're all ordered to keep quiet.
Yeah, you got kind of a gag order going on, huh?
Yeah. And so I'm nose to nose with him. And it's scary. I'm like, shit, I'm going to get into a fight here. I'm fucked. I'm going down. It's over.
Right.
And you stand there. I got, ready. Like, I'm not swinging first. I'll take the punch.
Right. I might not win, but I'm not going to lose.
I'm not going to, I'm going down, but I'm not taking the first punch. I'm not swinging first. And now there's people looking that we worked with. So now I have witnesses.
Yeah.
So now, and some of the guys work for me, and some of the guys that work for me are big guys. So they're standing up. Now we have people standing up watching this. And when it feels like it's going on for 5 hours.
Yeah,
It's like 12 seconds.
Sure.
But it feels like, know that feeling.
Uh-huh.
And as him and I are going at it, and there's another guy behind him who's a cop on the task force, big guy, like 6 foot.
Right.
Who definitely is going to kick the shit out of me no matter what.
Sure.
And he's yelling also, but I can't make it out because I can't.
You're focused on the one.
And I can't look away because he'll punch me.
Right.
If I look, like it's going to happen.
Right.
But then all of a sudden it just ends like that. Take a step back. Some of the guys I'm with, they're like, "Sit over here," and he's sitting over there, and we're just looking at each other, and I'm like,
you're still burning up inside, right?
Everything they go, everything.
Yeah.
It's just an adrenaline of fear, of concern, of emotions, everything, and you're like, you can't control it. And the game just starts. And I'm with one guy who was a boss from like Department of Corrections, who's one of the guys on my team.
Yeah.
He's like, you want me to get rid of this fucking guy? We'll get him. He goes, I'll get one of the PD sergeants. We'll lock him up. You're in Queens now. You're not in Long Island. This is a whole different world. So I'm like, I'm sitting there. I'm like, I got to go. I'm like, forget this.
Yeah.
So I just get up and I walk out. The baseball game just started. And some people are coming up. They're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm leaving. They're like, why? I'm like, it's going to get bad. This is going to be bad.
That's weird. It's like a junior high school. Yeah. They wanted to just keep the animosity going, huh?
So I call my wife and I tell her, because she knows everything that's going on. Like the world sucks right now. And she's like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I'm leaving. She's like, what, where are you going? I'm like, and I'm from Queens. I live in the I'm like, I'm just going to go to my parents' house to drive home. I live in Long Island with my wife. It's over an hour in traffic. I'm like, forget that.
Right.
So I get in the car and I'm going to go to my parents for the night. And I get on the phone and I call my chief, Brian, because he knows, like, I tell him what happened. And he's like, what? Like, just. Like, it's shock. Like, you should, like, he came up to you to fight you. I go, yeah. But I knew this would happen. We know these people.
Yeah.
So he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm leaving the game. I'm going to my parents. He's like, you left. I'm like, yeah. He's like, you're a good man. He's like, thank you for leaving. He goes, you did the right thing. He's like, get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
You know what?
I mean,
I'm like,
aside from getting hurt, but you're also not causing any scenes. You're not the one that's obviously, you know, keeping this going. Yeah,
I can't do.
It's
I'm
a wise decision.
All these other people are going to get jammed up because of, your ego. I'm not doing it.
Right.
I know this guy's an asshole. So as I'm talking to my chief, he's like, listen, write it down. Write down everything you can write down what happened. He goes, I don't care what was said at the game. He goes, write it all down.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, yeah, no sweat. I don't care. I write it all down. I send an email the next day. He calls over to the chief of the task force and headquarters. He's like, you believe? He goes, we have witnesses. He goes, there were people that sort of. So now that guy is kicked off the task force. Gone.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So now his partner is mad.
Oh, right.
Now you're like, now things are circulating.
Uh-huh.
So the results come out of their office culture investigation and say that I'm a bad supervisor and she was the problem. She's a bad employee. So now my chief gets pissed off about that. He's disgusted by it.
Right.
And my marshal, and he brings up to them, he goes, you mean to tell me all these things that she complained about are lies? She just lied. She goes, you have one thing in here, and he brings it to a point. He goes, she had a big cookie jar on her desk, and somebody peed in the cookie jar that was on her desk. Like someone poured urine in it,
right?
Or, and she reported that.
Right. What are we, 12? Holy cow.
And you're like,
yeah.
But then, of course, when my bosses and the headquarters bosses are talking, they're like, oh, we didn't know about that. He's like, it's right here, number 16 on her complaint. It's right here. You didn't read it? So now they're like, because now they're caught.
Right.
He goes, well, now that you brought that to my attention, I'm going to turn it over to internal affairs. So it takes months for things to happen.
About time, yeah.
So now they turn it over to internal affairs. And internal affairs only wants to investigate that one thing instead of everything else.
Everything else on the list.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's bullshit.
Sure.
When all you got to do is just find the truth. We're not going to help one of our own employees who got hurt.
Yeah.
You're not going to help
screwed over. Yeah.
Yeah. Just where's the help?
Right.
So they just they're looking to hurt people instead. So now it's a year later when the investigation's coming on. This guy who's kicked off the task force gets called by internal affairs because he's identified as one of the guys who peed in the cookie jar because he's one of the 5 guys that harassed her.
Right.
They do their bullshit introduction in internal affairs, and they go, before we start, is there anything you would like to say? Why would you? He's like, oh, yeah, I would. I would like to tell you that Bobby Lediger is a racist. He uses the N-word hundreds to thousands of times a day, and I'm offended by everything that he did. And I'm only bringing it to your guys' attention is because of what's going on now.
What you're being investigated? So the pressure's off you, and now it's on Bobby? Yeah.
Yeah. So like that, internal affairs, you got to read the transcripts to get it.
Yeah.
But you can see it's planned out.
Sure.
It was planned. The attack was planned. So he hijacks the investigation, and they're like, what do you mean? So they don't even talk about the urine in the cookie jar. They go right at it, and he starts saying, I say the N-word that hundreds of thousands of times a day. And not only has he witnessed it and complained about it, but his partner, who's a local cop, can verify it. And they know for a fact that other people, and they start implicating other marshals. So now you just threw a holy shit gasoline on it. So now everybody's like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
So now there's an investigation on me. So now I'm under internal affairs investigation. And not only am I under for that, they turn around and say, one of my informants, him and I own an MMA gym with. Okay. I own a gym. Now, Ken, I'm 5'6", 160 pounds. I haven't gone to the gym ever. I can't. The weights are more than me. That's right. It. I play hockey. I'm not a workout guy, you know?
Right.
I jog and I ride my bike. That's it.
You're not an MMA guy of
yeah,
any
I
sorts?
can't. Yeah. There's no way. And everybody who's looking at this is like, what? And that I failed to report incidents, which is all like, what?
Right.
And that me and my wife have domestic disputes.
Oh.
Like, okay. So now internal affairs is focused on me because they have their marching orders from
on high. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So they got to be able to justify their first investigation where they investigate themselves.
Right.
Which, Ken, this is all, it's legit, man. Like we have the documents, like my lawyers, it's too many smart people saw it.
Right.
But now I have internal affairs doing financial background checks on me to see if I own a gym. They're investigating everybody that I say the N-word. And of course, the only people who say I say the N-word are the 5 people who Dawn, the girl, made the complaint against.
Right.
Nobody else.
Okay.
But they're saying all these other people know that I do, but they're lying for me. Hundreds of people are just lying for me.
Right.
And only those 5 guys are telling the truth.
Right. There's a common denominator somewhere, but sure.
So now this goes on, and I flip out on internal affairs. And I go in for my interview. So it's my own mouth gets me in trouble. But you're already at level 10. You know, pissed off. What are you doing?
Sure.
Yeah. What are you doing to me? I have no reason to lie about anything. And internal affairs comes at you with they're disgusting people. That's why I don't like them. They're people that can't make it as real police. They really are. They can't. They're afraid to do the job that we do. They're afraid. So the questions they ask me, of course, if I'm a racist, I'm like, this is a joke. And then they go into so deep, and they bring my wife into it, and they ask me about my informant that I own a gym with them, and then they go, has having sex with your informant?
These are the questions. Where did this come from?
They go, is your informant was married to your wife? Are you me? Am I married to my informant's cousin? I'm like, what? My lawyers flip out.
Mm-hmm.
I flip out. They're all scumbag. I'm like, how do you do this? So internal affairs, it lingers and lingers for years. And they come up and they write up their report and they're like, Bobby Lediger lied. We believe the other guys, the bad actors,
right,
over me. And everybody, I collected hundreds of letters of support. My yearly evaluations are outstanding.
Right.
I get award. I don't even know some of the awards I got.
Right.
All the guys and girls that are in my unit get awards. They get outstanding performances. I've been involved in some of the biggest cases in American history.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in 4 shootings. I was working every day while they're investigating me in the most, and seriously, I proudly say it, that I had one of the most dangerous jobs in law enforcement. I went after fugitives.
Yeah, big time fugitives, murderers and rapists and people But I believe the most dangerous job in law enforcement is a uniformed police officer. Mm-hmm. The most dangerous. You're a target. Sure, yeah.
The time you're outside the building, you're a target by yourself. And then there's specialty law enforcement, like what I did. And I had a danger. I mean, it happens.
Sure, yeah.
And for them to do this to me, it's despicable. And to add on to it, the investigations get deeper and deeper. And the accusations are, I was stealing drugs. I was taking drugs. I was selling drugs. I stole Social Security numbers and sold them to people for identity theft. I steal money. I steal evidence, get rid of evidence.
Mm-hmm.
I was a bouncer at a bar.
According to the story?
Investigation.
Sure.
People that they were saying.
At 5'6", 160 pounds, you're a bouncer.
I'm taking you down. Yeah. I'm not McGregor. I'm not McGregor here.
Right, right.
But I filed bankruptcy. Mm-hmm. These are all great accusations that would get me fired like this.
Right.
So, of course, proposed removal, to be fired.
Right.
Because they're like, oh, we find that they're telling the truth. You lied.
Right.
So, and I'm mixing a lot in there, but
sure.
The matter is, I was fired on April 20th, 2020, during the worldwide pandemic.
Right, right.
Well, everybody was teleworking, sitting at home, and I was using up my leave, my sick and annual leave, because I was going to retire in 70 days.
So in June, you were going to retire?
I was going to retire in June.
Okay.
June 30th, 2020. That was my earliest eligibility date to go.
Okay.
I had my papers in, and on April 17th, Friday, Human Resources gave me the green light to retire on June 30th. But on April 20th, General Counsel came down with my termination letter that I was fired.
Oh, man.
So I was fired, and I put in, a defense and all that.
And we're looking at 25 years?
24 years and 10 months.
You've been with Marshal Service for 24 years, 10 months. And 2 months before you're getting ready to retire, they say.
Yeah. And that was and June 30th was the earliest I could retire, because for me, I had to have 25 years or turn 50, whichever came first. I was 49 years old. My birthday is August. So I didn't have the two requirements. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And so they stuck it to me, and it was all the same people. It was all the same people. We know it. I know. Everybody knows it. There's too many smart people that know it. So it crushes you.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I had 32 years of government service with my military. I lost it all. I lost my retirement, my medical benefits, my pension, everything.
Jeez.
So now I'm, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know what to do, man. You go into a dark space, and thank God for my wife. Me and my wife been together for almost 25 years. I mean, she's a superstar,
Yeah.
Thank God for my mom and dad, my mother-in-law, my attorneys. Every day I was afraid my attorneys would fire me or get and be like, we don't stand a chance.
Right.
And they're the greatest guys in the world. They're so smart. Thank God for all the people I met and people I work with, people that support me and back me.
Right.
Because they know, even though I'm not perfect, I'm not an angel, but I'm not a criminal.
Right. You're not a racist criminal that they're saying.
It's all fact. It's all there. And the lies that came out of it against me. And, it's disappointing how dysfunctional the government system is, or who's buddy with who and who's looking the other way.
Right.
It's a shame. It happens. And, so today, a friend of ours, Natalie, when she talks and I'm not insulted what anybody says to me. And I don't mind if people criticize me or talk about me or anything.
Right.
And I love it when people are like, I can't believe you didn't kill yourself for everything you went through. And I'm like, I can't, I'm like,
yeah, that's not the option.
No, but they want you to, they want you to, they want you to give up, and to give up is to end it all. And you think, what are you going to do?
Right.
You have to fight through, man. You have to. And, I was afraid my wife would leave me because we have nothing now,
right,
but
right.
It makes you stronger. Your friends are there.
But she didn't marry your stuff. She married you.
Yeah. Yeah. And we worked together, and I down in a hole, man, you gotta climb out, you gotta do whatever you gotta do. And what these people did to me and my family, my wife, I mean, these guys would sit outside my house just to sit there and
intimidate and
yeah. And my neighbors would tell us, and my wife would see it. They put screws in the tires of our cars. We get pulled over. Like, really?
This is like old, like 60s, 70s kind of like crooked department type things. Yeah. That's why I sit there. I felt like the character in the movie Copland, like Sylvester Stallone in Copland. I'm like, you got all these shady people doing stuff. And people couldn't believe it until they started seeing it and reading it and knowing the players. And they were like, holy shit. And people were concerned about me. They're like, you got to pay attention. You're going to get hurt. I'm like, okay, what are you going to do? Right.
And people say that. And what do you do? Somebody hurts you or your family. And you only, you hear these people talk about, oh, I'll kill you. I'll do this. I'll do that. No, you won't. Nobody does.
Right.
Nobody comes through, like I did what I had to do. Me and my wife, we moved from New York and moved to Florida while I was still working. And I would travel back and forth or stay at my parents' in Queens. Wow. And she would stay in Florida. She had to take a change in her job. We lost a lot of money. Attorney fees are very expensive.
Sure.
I don't have a union.
Yeah.
But today, I retired,
Mm-hmm.
and I know the government, the agency is mad. I have an appeal for everything to get back pay, and that's still in process. I have a job. I'm a security consultant for a private organization that they know exactly what happened to me, and they believe me, and they're like,
yeah,
you're a solid guy. You're like,
right.
Like, stop. Like, and I bring it up, like, ask some real professional law enforcement guys to look into me and say if I'm dirty or bad.
Right.
And they're like, no way. There's no way.
Right.
But because I went up against the upper echelon of the agency and I called them out.
Mm-hmm. Didn't
and
like
I
that.
I did what hurt me.
Yeah.
I told the truth, and I defended one of our own.
Right. Right. How is she doing? Have you talked with her?
Oh yeah, we talk. We're close now. As I defended her, she's defending me.
She's your name and your character everything. And all that stuff. Huh?
Yeah, she'll testify anytime. She'll talk to anybody. She was very lucky. She retired. But they were going after her too. She filed an EEO and settled with them.
Yeah,
because she just couldn't take it anymore. It's so much pressure.
Sure.
And now she's just trying to relax. But I talk to her all the time.
Good.
And we're there for each other.
Good. Good. Yeah. And that's what you got to do. I mean, you go through some crazy stuff. You go through stressful times and all that stuff like that. You can trust the people that were on your right and your left and the people you were fighting for. And, that's the relationships you make along the way. That's where your strength is going to be, it's going to lie in that. And so that's good that you still have that relationship with her, that she's doing well.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, you're like, do you regret what you do? You can't. Why do I regret it? I helped her and I helped other people.
Right.
Yeah. And people sit there, well, your mouth gets you in trouble. Really? Why are you allowed to say that, but I'm not?
Yes. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
How come you're not a target, but I'm a target?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't everybody wants to sit there? It's funny today with politicians, unaccountable bureaucrats. Oh, we need to have a conversation. Conversation about what? You have all these talks, but nothing happens from it.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Where's your action? Do something. I did something.
Right.
I confronted the bad actors. I confronted the problem. I brought it to everybody's attention who were supposed to do something.
Right.
And you'd all failed me.
Right.
If
you think about it, you look at that order in which things happened, that all these things were happening, and then, man, okay, we're going to wipe this under the rug. And then, it's not, it's just getting worse. And now, okay, you want to exacerbate it, then we'll take it up higher, and we go up higher. And then, okay, we have investigations. And then why weren't these things coming out before? Why were these things only coming out, during the investigation? Why weren't, these guys saying that you were being racist or you were being, bad before, and all you were wanting to do, I mean, it had to be because these things were happening, and it wasn't because of there was some kind of extenuating circumstances, but it was all going against one person, and there's this common denominator, and yet still this landed how it did, where you get fired 2 months before you're set to retire after 30-something years of federal service. How does that even, I mean, that's such a weird thing. You think about it, but.
Ken, there's so many more to it. Like I can
imagine. I can imagine that it's just, there's minutia that we're not even touching.
Oh, well, one of the things too is the supervisor who he and I butted heads to about this whole thing.
Yeah.
Is he got himself jammed up with doing his interviews with Internal Affairs and lied. And they now had to turn the table against him. So he was proposed removal to be fired as well for lying. But the people involved in that were able to delay it a little bit so he could retire.
Oh, geez.
While his thing was going on.
I see.
But they wouldn't do that for me because of who I was.
Right, because your mouth got you in trouble, apparently.
Yeah.
As opposed to his lying mouth didn't get him in trouble.
And everybody saw it. They were just like, because people, they're like, he's done. And nobody was upset about that because this guy's career was so dirty.
Right.
And you're like, okay, there it is.
Yeah. I talked to, and I mentioned this before on here, is there's that legacy that we leave, and we all want to leave a good legacy, but whether we do or not, it's up to us and how we form that legacy. But there's 3 things that are going to be said about you when you do ultimately leave, whether you leave a job or leave this planet or whatever you do, right? And that is, man, I'm glad that guy was gone. Or, man, I sure do miss that guy, and I wish he was back. Or the third one is, who are we talking about again? Who's that? So you just gotta go with the legacy that you left, and what's the things that the guys and girls that you worked for and worked with and worked over, what are they saying about you? What did they learn? What are they holding, still holding the lessons that you taught, or still holding those things and saying, what, he's a good guy. He taught me this, and I respect him and I love him and all this different stuff. If that's a legacy that you have, then you're solid. And if you have more people saying that, because you're not going to not everybody's going to like you, but if you have that legacy where more people are like, man, I sure wish you were still here, and I wish you well, then you have done a job that you can be proud of. And I think from what you're telling me, what you're saying is that that's what it sounds like. So that's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that and catching it throughout the whole talk here.
Yeah. Because
I was just up in New York a couple of weeks ago, and I went out to dinner with my then chief, Brian, who's still working, and Internal Affairs were going after him. Or one of the reasons was writing a letter of support for me.
Really?
So, but he's a smart man, and
sure.
He and I and another friend of ours, the 3 of us were very close our whole careers, and we've all known each other for my whole career because they were senior to me.
Right.
And Ken, it was just a sweet moment to be with those 2 guys, to have done the job with, to be friends with. I mean, our wives are friendly with each other.
Right.
We've been to special events together, and we shared our careers with each other in moments. And when I got to sit down with those 2 guys and, as friends, as gentlemen, and have a drink, and when I told them what had played out, the storyline of being able to retire, you just feel the happiness for each other,
Right. Yeah. With that thing where you just want to see your friends and the people you love doing well. And that's where it is. That seems where it is. So,
and it was an amazing thing that, it was like, we didn't want to let that moment of togetherness, that time, go away.
Right. Yes.
But it's, and thank goodness for people like that.
Yeah.
Thank goodness,
Yeah, absolutely. So what's on the horizon? You just sipping Mai Tais at the beach now, or what's you writing a book? What are we doing?
Yeah. So, writing a book, and it's so funny. I'm with Natalie Riley, writing it, and she's amazing.
Yeah. And some of you guys listening, Natalie's work. I read it when Chris Hoyer was on. I read her book, parts of her book, and I know you've heard her name a bunch of times. she is eventually going to be on here. She is just so busy. She edits books. She helps people write books. She's so busy. I went over to her house a couple weeks ago, and she couldn't even go do anything. She was like, I've got 400 projects I'm working on. So you guys will get to meet her at some point. She is an absolute 10, and Bobby can attest to that, I bet.
Oh my God, yeah. She is what a beautiful person.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just on the phone yesterday morning. She called, and where the time difference, she's calling me at 6:00 in the morning where she is, and she's at the beach and working on my book, and she's got questions, and she's like, we have to talk right now.
Right.
And we go on for an hour, and the best thing is she had a timeline. She's like, this book is going to be done in August.
Right.
Well, we're in September, and I knew it wouldn't be done. And I love that it's not done, because the story just gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Right.
And she knows my story. She knows my case. She knows this whole thing, if not better than my lawyers.
Right.
Like, she got it.
Right.
And, and her and I connected a year ago through Sarah Carroll.
Yeah, who I just had on the podcast just recently. And you guys remember her? She Power of Our Story. She's just fantastic.
Oh, she's amazing. And that whole group with the Power of Our Story, those people are great. And they, the support is amazing. So yeah, Natalie is writing away, and I'm just so grateful that she did it, that she wanted to take on my.
Absolutely. I think that's so cool. That is so cool. And so for those of you guys listening, and you keep hearing maybe birds chirping in the background or planes flying overhead, because Bobby is at a paradise right now. He's on a different part of the planet than I'm at, and he's sitting over there in his retirement land, enjoying sunshine and crisp weather and all this good stuff. And that's awesome that we can still get together and talk about this stuff from different parts of the planet, which is so cool.
It's great. Yeah, Ken, this is great, man.
Yeah.
What you're doing is, it needs not that it needs to get out there, but just, you and I connected, and you give me the opportunity just to talk and listening. And,
oh yeah.
The question, it helps people. It helps, man.
Well, yeah, you never know, man. There's people that just go through stuff all the time, and who knows if they're able to take something, glean something from conversation, and be like, okay, it would help them, just be able to fortify their heart to get through the situation they're getting through. You never know. It's that there's hope on the other end.
You're right. And I get people today reach out to me looking for help, looking for advice, or looking, trying to understand better the process of what's going to happen next,
Right.
and even connecting with, someone else to talk to, or even for legal advice.
Sure.
You got to help people. You really do, because, maybe somebody is bad, maybe it is out there, but, until you can prove it to me, you're not a bad guy.
Right. Right.
That's it.
Yep.
So,
I agree 100%. So that's awesome. Where can people find out more about Bobby Lediger, and keep an eye out for the book and all that stuff like that?
The only place I'm really active on is LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
And my name's Robert Lediger.
Yeah.
It goes out there like that. I share some information on there. I'm not on Facebook yet or anything,
Right.
I know the time will come.
Especially when that book gets published, that's going to need to have some.
I got it.
Push.
Yeah.
But keep an eye out for that book, is what I'm guessing, huh?
Big time. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm very excited. We have little, we joke. My wife even jokes about it, because it makes me feel better. And talking with Natalie, it's like counseling. It helps you, to get it out there.
Sure.
And I even told Natalie, I'm like, hey, I can't wait, man, to go out and do like the book signing tour or something. And she just, it's great,
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
I definitely want to do it. My wife's like, what the hell do you think this is? Like, I'm like, oh, it's definitely going to be a New York Times bestseller.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, hey, everybody, if you want to get in touch with us, you can find us on all the social media platforms, obviously Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and I'm on LinkedIn. And get a hold of us, talk to us there. You can find out more about the show that way. And if you want to find out previous podcast episodes, you can go to the What's a Hero podcast.buzzsprout.com and download. Actually, you can stream from the website, but you can also has links to podcast platforms. Go into there, subscribe, download, have it with you, take it with you, share it with your friends, listen to it over and over. When you are going to whatever book signing that Bobby Lediger is at for his book, you can have it on your phone and you can listen to it on the plane while you're going there, get your book signed, and then you can go back home. That's all you need to do is go to the book signing and meet him, and you can hear his stories more and ask him the questions that I haven't asked him. And so he's willing to talk to you guys. So keep an eye out for that. But Bobby, do you have any final words that you want to tell everybody? Last opportunity to just drive that home.
You can never give up, because every day the demons do get in your head. When you're accused of something, or targeted, or they try to characterize you falsely, you just can't give up, and you really gotta trust people, that are gonna help you. And I was very fortunate, and I hope people are as fortunate as I am, that they have good family and friends, and different outlets that can get you through the day, and you gotta stay with it.
Right. I wise words, man. Thank you so much, Bobby. I thank you so much for coming on. It's been great talking with you, and man, that was a hell of a ride you went through, huh? Yeah,
still going. Ken, thank you again, man, for giving me this opportunity. It's great.
Absolutely, and you're always welcome back anytime. And we get a kind of what's happening now at some point. We want to keep following and figure out how well you're doing, and how we can support you and what you got going on. So,
hell yeah, I definitely want to come back on. Next one, I'll be laying on a float on the pool. And I'll make sure it's in the winter, so
I can really feel that. I don't know where I'm at. We got forest fires everywhere, so it's all smoky outside, so it doesn't matter. I still can't go out. But nevertheless, hey man, you be safe out there. Thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So for Bobby Lediger, I have been Ken Fraunfelter, and this has been the What's a Hero podcast. We are clear.